Perhaps you don't remember the first time that you visited your current church, but maybe you remember what it was like. When people come to your church, it's the greeters who make first contact. People are scary.
Young lady, you know you have to pay for those. Hey, stop!
Church people can be very scary. And then meeting church people can be horrifyingly scary. Walking into a church building where you don't know anyone and no one knows you can be daunting. Sometimes it just sucks. Your church needs people who are friendly, outgoing, engaging, and who have a clear vision for the importance of the ministry. You need greeters.
When I was a little boy in pastor school, nobody was happy. I had high blood pressure. And I started crying. Daddy told me to meet him in front of the liquor store.
Hi, I am James Holland. Today we are going to talk about a greeter ministry in your church, something you need no matter what size your church is. Hey, I'm going to ask you now to leave a comment and tell us about your greeter ministry or a greeter ministry that you have seen that was outstanding, or maybe one that was not outstanding. In other videos, we've talked about the critical eye and evaluating the outside of your church. But today we're going to talk about the people whose faces are the first ones that visitors see, the personalities that they have, and the first impression that people get about the friendliness of your family of believers. You are having an opportunity to welcome people into your tribe. So the question is, do people who visit your church feel like they are being invited into a church family? Or do they feel like they're just walking into a show? Let's get to it. First, it's time for evaluation. If your church meets on a Sunday, find a Saturday night church to visit. See what they do in terms of first impressions. See what their greeters are like. Notice what their greeters say. Notice where they stand. Notice their action. Notice their body language and their nonverbals. Are they welcoming or are they awkward? Are they even there? And take notes about what you see and experience. Then identify your own greeting team, what they do well and what they do not so well. Now, let's get to the meat of a greeting team. Create a vision statement, even if you don't have a team yet, even if you don't have one greeter yet. Just an idea. Something like the greeter team fulfills the mission of our church by creating a warm, welcoming, friendly first impression. That's a simple vision that people can remember. Something to remind people is that the greeters may be the first Jesus that someone ever meets. This is your compelling vision. It should be repeated weekly to your team members. They should know this by heart. It should guide every encounter they have. And it's also a way to evaluate the greeter ministry. It is a real ministry. It's as important as music, as preaching, as any other aspect of the church. Next, it's time to recruit.
Bring out your dead!
Find people who are assertively friendly. People who are outgoing, people who naturally will just look you in the eye. Then take your compelling vision and cast it to these people that you think should be part of the team. Tell them how vital greeters are to the ministry of the church, and tell them why you think they would be such a great part of the greeter ministry. Don't schmooze them though. Be honest. If they don't jump on board, invite them to try it out for a few weekends and see how they like it. Chances are they're going to enjoy it and want to continue. Reconnect with them, find out how it went, and see if they are ready to continue. Oh, and remind them of the vision. Next, identify someone who is on the team or maybe not on the team who can be a leader, someone who is faithful, available, and teachable. Those three words, what we call the characteristic of being fat. Find someone who is responsible, who can schedule people, who can definitely be coached, and who has good communication skills and can follow up and communicate with the team regularly. And you are definitely going to have to walk with them and coach them as they get up to speed on how to lead the team.
I want you to visualize and then attack. Can you handle that?
I tried.
You know, like most things, lead them by example so they can learn to lead others. You can even create a job description for the greeters themselves. It's pretty simple. Be friendly. Don't freak people out. Okay, they need more details than that, but you see where I'm going. Now, however you do it, you want to train your people. Don't just assume they know how to be friendly. Teach them about nonverbal communication. What does it communicate when I, as a greeter, am doing this? Hey, teach them how to be friendly to someone before they ever get to the door. A smile, a wave, eye contact. Also, have a definite time that your greeters should be at church. You know, have them come early. Showing up right as the church starts is not okay. Make sure they know when greeting begins and when greeting ends. You know, it's always good for a greeter to have something to put in the hands of someone who's coming in. It could be a bulletin. It could be a card or a piece of information about an upcoming event. Oh, I would definitely go to a church where when I walk in, a greeter hands me a donut. Handing people something as they walk in the church is a great physical connection. It's a physical connection that they are making with the church. Now, you might disagree with this. This is just my own philosophy. But when someone walks in, don't just automatically go to shake their hand. Some people are a little squeamish. If a greeter knows that person, well, absolutely shake their hand. Just don't reach out and grab people by the hand. It can be a little awkward. You know, put your hand out there and see what they do. Oh, absolutely. Make it a requirement. No cologne, no perfume. I don't care how great you think you smell. Nobody wants to smell like you the rest of the day, and it will rub off. And no opinionated, inappropriate conversations. I went to a men's luncheon one time at a church, and they had greeters who are men. And when I walked in, this man came up to me. He was a greeter, and he started talking to me. And about a minute into the conversation, he decided to share with me his opinion on something. Out of the blue, he just said, "You know, I'm from the old school, and back in my day, men did not wear earrings." And I had 5. I immediately turned around and walked out of the building. Okay, so details to consider. Name tags are great. Not the "my name is" stick on your shirt type. But make some real, like laminated, backstage pass looking name tags that look substantial. You can put the person's name on it. You can have a cool graphic as the background. Something so it doesn't look plain. And put it on a cool lanyard, not just one of those little hangy-on, clippy-on things. Oh, and print the vision of the greeter team on the back of that name tag, on the back of that backstage pass. It can always be seen there, and it's always a reminder of who we are. And if nothing else, it's a name they can see and likely remember. Next. How cool is it when greeters all have matching shirts? They communicate a team. Matching shirts can illustrate that these people actually may know something and be able to answer some questions. They illustrate a representative of the church, someone who can maybe answer questions, or at least an official that they can connect with. It can be a t-shirt. It can be a collared shirt. Each week, give your greeters specific information about what's going on currently or soon. If you're having a men's event and the greeter says to a man entering the building, "Hey, we're having a men's event," there's a connection. It's a great way to get someone to the next step in your church. If teenagers walk in and you are going to have a youth retreat soon, hey, a greeter saying, "Wow, we've got a youth event. Do you know about it? Are you going?" Now, make sure that your greeters know the basics of what's going on in your church. Where do the children go? Where do the youth go? ¿Dónde está el baño? Where's the water fountain? How do I get to the nursery? Have your greeters able to direct people to whatever possible area somebody new might need to get to. And as a pastor, a friend of mine says, don't give people the finger. Don't just point them in the direction. Have your greeter walk them to it and show them where it is, and hand them off to another person. After the services are over, follow up with your team. Get stories. See if there were any problems. And if you can't do this right after the service, we'll do it during the week. And something that churches don't always do is we'll celebrate with your team what they're doing. You know, bring them candy or something occasionally. Say, that reminds me, there's nothing worse than a greeter with funk breath. Make sure your greeters have access to mints, to gum, to breath fresheners, to gasoline, whatever it takes. And at least twice a year, get your greeter team together, have a cookout, invite them over, spend time with them, just love on them. Some kind of appreciation dinner. Tell them what they're doing well and tell them, again, the importance of what they're doing. But don't make it a training meeting. Like your greeter ministry, it should be connectional and relational. There are a million ways to do greeters. We didn't even talk about like a parking lot ministry. Just remember, your greeter team is one of the most important elements of your church ministry. They are the first impression that people will get as they walk in. And they communicate whether or not they're wanted and whether or not they should come back again. If you have had an excellent greeter experience or are part of an excellent greeter ministry, leave us a comment and tell us what's so great about it. If you've had a bad greeter experience, tell us about that and tell us what you think would have made it better. And I want to say thank you for watching these and be sure to subscribe to this channel. In seminary, when I would walk into philosophy of the Christian faith class, nobody held the door open for me. That was just something they did not teach in pastor school.